What what is good, chat? Just making sure volume was a little low last time on this one, but hey, welcome, welcome on back, chat. Gonna start off with an absolute, absolute unit of a situation. We've got, and I apologize, the hoodie is from a family member, so hey, it's all love here. Obviously, Virginia Tech, definitely, definitely level of VT. Great school. So, but let's start with some big news. Saw this earlier today. Wanted to wanted to just say not 100% sure, but it seems like CU is going to be the number one spot for Julian Lewis. Super excited about that. Really interested to go ahead and kind of see where the commitment is. Got to get the pen to paper. Got to get things rolling in the direction of official, not just speculation. So, um, you know, this is a big deal because originally Julian was supposed to go to Indiana to watch them belt to behind Michigan, and they did. They did, and they cracked the top five this week in the AP poll, and well deserved. Obviously 10-0, and they didn't need to do Michigan that bad. But hey, Michigan, former shell of themselves right now. Hey, Indiana speculated to be pretty much losing the advantage they have or hold in Julian Lewis's mind, from my understanding. But love to see what we have going on here as Indiana Insider shares Hoosiers backup plan to Colorado flip target Julian Lewis. And notice how it doesn't say USC football flip. It is going to be Colorado, meaning the man is going to come to Colorado here. Hopefully that is next week, or this week. So obviously canceling his USC visit, canceling his Indiana visit, then coming to CU. I got to be honest. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. It is very much going to be one of those situations where, from a insider perspective, it seems very much like CU is going to walk away with this, and that is going to be huge for the 2025 class. The thing that scares me a little bit about this particular opportunity or this particular situation is that, Indiana is going to come in with some leverage, being in that top spot. I will say, though, if you're canceling your visit, might not be the greatest sign. So hopefully we can go ahead and see some pen to paper or a little bit more of an acknowledgement from Julian Lewis that this is more solid, because speculation wise, I think it's always something that we do is jump to that conclusion, jump to the aspect of making sure that this is solid is something we need to do first. Going to go ahead and kind of say, hey, I would love to see a little bit more acknowledgement from Julian Lewis first before we put the pen to paper. But I do think he's a great fit for Colorado. Hand the ball off to, hand the reins, so to speak, off to, for him to take this team, be the face of this team. I think he is a great fit for this organization going forward. Super excited to see what we can do for him. Very interested, though, as well, because, transfer portal is going to open up some potential crazy, availability for some quarterbacks. Also, just got to say, Carson Beck, man, just broad thought here. Carson Beck, probably one of the most overrated quarterbacks in all of college football coming into the season, and just seemingly proving that right. So, hey, what do I know? Obviously, definitely put Shador at number 1 here. So, is what it is. But just wanted to go ahead and kind of cover Julian Lewis first. Big deal to see that it's not a flip from USC, it's a flip from Colorado now that Indiana insiders are trying to secure insight on at Indiana. So that's huge. Hopefully we can get that locked down within the next couple of weeks to make some positive gain on the recruiting class of 2025. Not that it hasn't already been great, but this lockdown of Julian Lewis would really increase where CU stands in not only just the class or rankings, but not that matters, but just overall with some of the players, and really ease some of that tension of people being like, oh, Coach Prime's gone after Shador. And if he leaves, as a CU fan, super happy that we had him here while he was here, but I definitely do not see CU being a place that Coach Prime wants to leave in any way, shape, or form, especially with how this season has gone, turned it around from 1-11 to now being second place in the Big 12 when everybody thought we would be 11th. So, unreal situation to be in and involved with. So I'm excited to go ahead and kind of see where he decides to plan the future out with. But I definitely am interested to gather some insight from him after this season, kind of see where his head's at, because right now you can't think about that and too far into the future. I am excited. This Julian Lewis pickup though would really lock down a strong note for the 2025 players that he is staying. So, hey, thank you guys, chat, for tuning in. Appreciate y'all very much. I did want to go ahead and share with you guys. We got some drama, and I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of pull it up here. And I apologize, just typing it in, but awesome. I'm pulling this up, ladies and gentlemen. Got a little bit of drama to talk about here. I don't exactly know what. Okay, there we go. Clear that. All right. So this is huge. This is huge because normally player safety is the number one priority of any venue, and let alone any fans in spectating. The goal is to make sure that you keep people safe, regardless of whether it's a fan or a player. This is football. I understand. I get heated sometimes. I'm a very emotional fan about CU. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or nothing, and I'm sure some of y'all are as well. But this is definitely something that is very important. But let's touch on this. Coach Prime told one of the refs that the fans are throwing half bottles and beer cans on the field, which technically speaking is towards them. And if you're not wearing a helmet on the sideline and one of the bottles comes in, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. And to really say the least, it's nerve-wracking to hear that. First and foremost, tortillas are being thrown to begin with. You cannot have... This is a gateway. Tortillas are a gateway drug in this particular instance because this is not acceptable. And for the ref to say, well, your players are blowing kisses after they score. Okay. And, I mean, you cannot tell me that this is not something that is acceptable. Players will blow kisses to opposing teams, fans all the time. Players will taunt back because they're taunting them. But the tortillas we're calling them the gateway here. This is ridiculous because they're throwing. First of all, they're throwing stuff to begin with. They already have it in their heads that it's okay. They're losing at this point in the game, and for them to be throwing tortillas is just the beginning. It's just the tip. They're going to start, it's going downhill from here. And, beer bottles, I'm sure if you've ever been to a college game or you've been to a professional game, there's some chirping going on occasion. And especially if you're at that lower level, it's going to happen. The players are going to chirp back to the fans. Now, do I like it? Ideally not, but the fans need to be respectful to the players regardless of which team they support. They should not wish ill will. They should not try to intentionally hurt them by throwing beer cans or water bottles. That is a bit too far. And let's also not forget that we're coming from a place where several weeks ago Texas got fined for fans throwing water bottles onto the stadium floor, onto the field. So there's, as an official, you got to throw some flags because it's, first and foremost, it gets a little bit more control of the game, gets a little bit more control of the fans, and of course the coach also of the Texas Tech Raiders came out and grabbed a microphone and said, stop throwing stuff onto the field, stop throwing stuff, we're going to get a penalty, stop it. But at this point, with how much stuff has already been thrown, I don't think you can give Texas Tech a warning. Now, there is a little bit of a deeper-seated issue here that I'm going to kind of talk about. And this ref kind of shenanigans didn't just happen at CU. It also happened at BYU. We'll talk about that a bit later because if we're being honest, Utah definitely should have won that game. They got hosed. They got absolutely, just independent party here obviously wanted BYU to lose because that would have helped our chances in evening out the table just a little bit. But regardless, the referees have a problem here. There was a video circulating around, and I could not find it. But the issue was Shador was warming up beforehand, and two referees come over and say, "You got to take that off. You got to take your own NIL merchandise off. You can't be promoting two. You can't be promoting two." And that's crazy because that's the first time I've ever heard a referee come up to a player before game and say, "No, you're not allowed to wear your own merchandise. It's got to be your team's stuff." I mean, there are plenty of players across the country right now that wear their own stuff during warm-up, wear different shirts during warm-up, and especially with Coach Prime, he's very much about NIL. So a little interesting as to exactly why that was the case, but anyway, I digress. I apologize for the little rant, but this whole thing is stemming from something a little bit deeper. The refs clearly had some sort of issue, and for a referee to respond with, "Oh, well, they're blowing kisses," or, for many people, from reporters to a plethora of different people in the interview space saying that the referees were terrible. Now, Coach Prime didn't say that the referees were terrible, but a lot of people said the refereeing was terrible this game, and it's gotta be something within the Big 12 right now, especially seeing what happened at BYU unfold too. So I think the Big 12 has to do some revisiting internally with the Referees Association. I don't know what needs to be fixed. I don't know how that bias gets in there in the first place of this particular level. I definitely don't think that the bias was acceptable in any way, shape, or form. But CU still won, still came out with a win, and had their backs against the wall early on. fantastic job by them to come out with that win. But this is unacceptable from the Big 12. The Big 12 needs to fix this right away. So definitely not super thrilled with how things turned out. Not super thrilled with the way that the referees made this look. And, you know, if you watched the broadcast originally, CU, the commentators thought that CU or Dion was upset about the specifically the water bottles. And yes, that's true, but it's also he was very upset with how the referees respond. And I'm sure this referee woke up with a nice little text from a commissioner or head of refereeing, somebody, his boss, and said, "Yeah, you messed up, and this is not happening ever again." Like, especially with this, because this is really gonna bring to light to the Big 12 some things that need to be reviewed internally with the refereeing association, because it's unacceptable. There's clearly some sort of internal motive there playing out. That's just unacceptable to say. Your job as a referee is to keep the player safe day in and day out, no matter what. You know, you step on that field, you're a non-biased party. You're there to ref the game, and that's it. I understand refs have a hard job to begin with, but that is unacceptable. You're there to protect the players, and the players were not being protected in any way, shape, or form from these fans. So super sad to kind of see this underlining background of whatever bias was at play. But, you know, just wanted to go ahead and kind of talk about that briefly. And then, you know, this I thought was kind of crazy. I'm not 100% sure where you're supposed to be on this. So as you can see here, we'll take it a step back too. As you can see here, Shedeur, this is Shiloh, Shedeur, and Bucky. This is after Shiloh pick, scoop, and score. And, or not pick, I apologize, fumble and score. So really, really excited. Obviously, Happy did his dance, but Shedeur and Bucky come over, and Bucky's, you know, obviously recording the video, and the ball boy for Texas Tech comes over, and as you can see, he's, instead of waiting for after they're done celebrating, knocks the ball out of Shiloh's hands. And then this is where things get interesting. Shedeur goes up and says, "Hey man, like, that, knock that off. Like, that's not okay." Like, you know, obviously, definitely did not say that. He said some he said some other things, and then you see Bucky right here at first, and I don't know what this gentleman said, because I'm sure there were some sort of words exchanged, and obviously I know he's doing his job. I know he's just trying to do his job, but definitely not something that I see as acceptable from the perspective of knocking the ball out of the player's hands while he's celebrating. Dude, just wait till they're done. But all right, this is where it gets interesting. Bucky with a little push. You can see he's definitely angry. And I you know, it's family. You got to have your brother's back. This kid definitely, you know, didn't deserve to be pushed, but also definitely doesn't deserve to be interfering with the celebration just to get the ball back. Just so everybody's also aware, Deion Sanders Jr. and Bucky played for Texas Tech head coach. So, and Deion Sanders is close with them. I'm sure Shiloh would give the ball back somewhere or somehow. If coach asked for it, I'm sure they'd get it back. Let's also not take that into a fact of, like, if they needed that ball back, I'm sure they could get the ball back. But regardless, he's doing his job. Don't go up and knock it out during mid-celebration. That's the issue. That's the thing at play. It's the issue of him trying to interfere and do things while people are celebrating, while they're getting showing love to each other with the family. That's the thing. You can't right here. Can't come up. Can't knock the ball out like just because you're doing your job. Like, bro, to swat it. That's the issue. To swat it. That's the issue. And just don't understand exactly why that's the decision on the ball boy's part. In terms of, hey, if that's me, take the ball, celebrate. I get it. You're with your team. Just I'd go up and say afterwards, do you mind if I get that ball back when you're done? Or go up to him in a bit. Just or just don't even bother. It's not like y'all can't buy a new ball. Like it isn't really that big of a deal. But realistically, not super great of a look on either end as far as it goes. Hopefully, there is some clarification as to what exactly was said from the ball boy as well, because I'm sure Bucky didn't just respond because of how things went down. I'm sure it was, hey, that's my brother, don't touch my brother. But I'm sure there was also something muttered between the ball boy and Shador. So not exactly sure why, the push came into play there. But, hey, big brother looking out for little brothers. Love to see the family aspect playing in. But just so we got it one more time in full speed here. Goes in and bats it down. Yeah, just let it go. Just let it go. Like, what's exactly, Kevin, exactly. And he was trying to cause a fight. It's definitely not fair. It's definitely not one of those situations where you can't walk into that and do that. Like, you just don't get involved. Let them celebrate. Let them do their thing, and then go up after. It ain't a real deal. And Kevin Hall, thank you for chatting, Kevin. I apologize. Let me go ahead and read this. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot going on, and also I did not know that he called him a hoe. That's a bit. I mean, I'm not 100% sure where you're getting your stuff from, but if that's what the situation is and that's what went down, that is crazy to hear from that perspective. Just very interesting to hear that, because why I mean, the ball boy just let it be, man. You're being too big for the moment. Just settle down. It ain't that big of a deal. So, obviously heated moment. Bucky coming on in and shoving, saying, hey, don't put your hands on my brother. Don't touch. So definitely one of those situations where you probably just don't get involved to begin with. If you're the ball boy, don't knock it out of his hands. Yeah. Yeah, I watched Kevin, and I've watched a couple of clips. I don't think I've watched the whole thing. I know Shador said some stuff to him, but I don't know if the ball boy said the same thing back. So, yeah, but yeah. Yes, no, and that's facts. I definitely heard, because even in the well-off media video, you hear him talking about that. You hear him calling that. So, yeah, Shador definitely. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, that's super helpful. I am definitely sad to hear that the ball boy, obviously, stand your ground to an extent, but like, man, come on now, just let it be. But anyway, I feel like that's just all I wanted to cover on that point. If you guys want to go in a little bit deeper, hey, definitely here to talk about it more, but wanted to jump onto some things that I actually did enjoy about this moment right here. And I'm gonna mute it because I don't think I'll get DMac'd for this. I believe this is DMac, but I'm not gonna go ahead and get DMac right now. But see, Coach, I'll turn on the closed captioning here. But this is where I love this part right here. This makes me super happy to see this, because you just see Texas Tech's trying to hype up their own crowd and hype up their own team, and all that did was hype up CU. All that did is hype up CU. And Kevin, you're exactly right. They were already throwing stuff at them, and it was ridiculous. But look at this part right here is my favorite. Look at them all just vibing out and having a fantastic time. And this is during the whole water bottle situation, and them taking some time to figure out whatever. But this is fantastic. This is a family. This is a family situation. This ain't a team. This is a family, and I just want to watch that back one more time, because to watch how it starts with one person, and then it's not just one person. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody's doing it. They all hyping each other up. They all fighting. They all aggressive. And they all aggressive at the same goal. And this is a team. This is a family. This is I got goosebumps watching this part, man. And I just was so, man, oh my goodness. It was awesome to watch this and watch them get all hyped up. And I don't know if I can throw. What do y'all chat? Y'all want me to throw on the audio, because I don't know if I'm gonna get DMAC'd. I don't know what that looks like. Y'all want me to throw on the audio? I'll throw it on. We just let me know if y'all can hear this. Bucky slowed it down, so I don't know if that's going to make it that much of a difference. But like this, you just see where they all start to vibe. Listen. I have been saying it. I have been saying it since summer ball, since spring ball. The defensive energy is unreal this year, and they are the heart and soul of this team. Everybody was saying it's the offense. No, it is right here, and you saw it come through with so many amazing plays. Obviously, taunting, we got to get rid of some of these particular plays that you just don't like to see. More importantly, getting rid of this unsportsmanlike conduct, the taunting, the extracurriculars that are going to hurt us in those big games. Called 10-2 for the sprint game. Hey, Kevin, I love that, dude. I love to hear that you called 10-2 at the spring game, and you might be spot on, dude. And as of right now, it looks like it'll be 10-2, man. 10-2, and to highlight that, man, this part, just look at these faces too. By the way, I don't think that was enough said. Like, these boys are happy and having fun and smiling. So I wanted to go from some negative stuff to some positive stuff, because this is hyping me up. I'm ecstatic to see the way that this team turned out, the way that they played. I'm so happy with how they've done so far. Super happy with how this defense is turning things around. The trenches are playing fantastic, and that brings me to some players that have stepped on up when we needed them the most. And that's Amar McNeil, somebody who did not play a whole lot last year, did not really get involved until towards the end of the year, and he was stepping it up and he was playing amazing. And I really loved what they were looking for. And Amar is fantastic for what CU is needing right now in the depth. And Kevin, I see your chat about I do think Utah got ripped off, and I was going to go on into that. I talked about that earlier as well, with the referees having a problem, especially because if it's happening in the CU game and happening in the BYU Utah game, which, by the way, Utah won that game. That's a safety. That's a safety. They get the ball back. There's no reason that should not have been a safety. And Cash was huge. Cash was huge. And that was another player I was going to go on into. And I apologize. I know the chat's a little delayed from when I'm talking to you and when we're talking. But let's Utah. Oh, I can't spell. Don't look at this. I can't spell. Don't. Sorry, chat. I am dyslexic. I'm a bit on the, not great with spelling side. So don't look into that too much. Don't look into that too much. But man, like the way that this went, let's see if we can. I don't know if they're gonna cover it in this. I don't know if they're covering it in this, but just since Kevin brought it up, we'll talk about it because I think it's important to touch on, and then we'll go back to Cash Cleveland and Amari McNeil and some other players that stepped up. So this was a thrilling game. I'm sorry, I just want to go to the specific play. I don't know where they do it. Are they going to show it? Okay. No. Let's see. Okay. They may not. They did not show it on the ESPN pod. Anyway, but they didn't show it. This is ridiculous. This is absurd. Let me see if. I'm not going to. Don't worry, chat. We ain't. Okay, I'm not able to show it. Whoa! Chat. Apparently, I got to do something. I'm sorry, chat. If you're just joining us, it's me and Kevin and some others in here, but appreciate y'all tuning in. I don't even why I got to do this. Anyway, but here we go. So that's ridiculous. That's got to be a safety. And it's late. There's no flag, and it's late. And that's a if we're calling it on the receiver, it's ticky-tacky. It's not involved. He's not involved in the play. The quarterback got sacked literally 5 seconds into the play. He doesn't have enough time to throw that ball. It might even be 2. It might even be 2 seconds. That is absurd in my mind. That's a Utah win. And it's definitely sad to see them lose it. But, man, it's unreal. And it is definitely because they don't want to see the Buffs in the playoffs. But as of right now, we control our fate in there. And so I'm hoping to see some big changes, and so also the focus needs to continue to be there, because obviously a bye week, coming out of a bye week, playing hot, playing fast is hard in terms of, exactly where CU needs to start versus where they need to finish, especially because we could have ran up at least 2 more touchdowns, and we didn't. And we took the foot off the gas, and we should have done a better job. And absolutely, Kevin, same thing against K-State. And we could have won that game. Very much could have won that game. Should have won that game. So, man, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but hey, we're here. We're gonna focus on what we can. The finishing needs to be there. We'll roll off this win and we'll be there. So, but Maury McNeil played fantastic, stepped up, played a fantastic game. I know we've talked about some, some players that play a lot, and Quin Barnes is somebody who plays a decent amount and does do a great job of stepping in when needed. Now, does he have a fair amount of involvement? Yes. But also, he does a lot of things that aren't stats. He does a lot of gap coverage. He's creating a gap for the linebackers to succeed in. And he did a fantastic job. Him and Chidozie on a line, I absolutely love seeing that. And Quin Barnes, fantastic player. Amari McNeil, fantastic way to step up for both of them. Definitely was not expecting, Amari McNeil to step up this game. I am very happy that he did. Total tackles this year, 18, 8 solo, 8 assisted, 2.5 sacks. He had one. I believe they counted one this year as well. Absolutely phenomenal on his part. I was expecting Ryan Blue. I don't know if he's just completely out of the he's healthy. I figured we'd use him internally. Maybe I just didn't see his number a whole lot that game. Kind of hard with the angle that they were playing. And Chidozie Nwonkwo is definitely somebody that I anticipated being. I mean, you just see him more often than not. So, fantastic job from him. And then another defensive player that popped off this weekend. None other than the Colorado native, Arden Walker. Arden played fantastic. He had 2 sacks, and bro, there is a play where Arden comes out and just smacks the quarterback, and I just couldn't tell you if that looked like it hurt. I was hurting for the quarterback, so very ecstatic to see him kind of breaking out of his shell. He's played a lot this year, and he's done well. But, he got 2 of his sacks, I believe, were literally this last game. So, super excited to see him kind of finish the way that he did last year. Very excited to hopefully see him continue to break out. I know he's going to be a huge impact for us in his senior season, as well as he's going to be an impact for the remainder of these 3 games that we have. So super excited. Now, going to go to the offensive side of the ball here for some amazing players, and Kevin made a mention to it earlier. Cash Cleveland, and I'm sorry, it's going to take me just a second. Cash Cleveland. I'm not sure how they organize these. If it's based off alignment. I also am interested to Yaya. I'm interested to see how Yaya turns out as a player. He's a big dude. Cash Cleveland, Mr. Cleveland, fantastic walk-on from Rockwell, Texas. Played phenomenal, obviously replacing Hank Zelinskis, who made, I don't know, man, just from the perspective of super happy to see Hank succeed, but also, not exactly sure where this communication error is occurring. Why are we snapping the ball repetitively, excuse me, not great English, but why are repetitively we creating issues where we need to be putting ourselves backwards? Because especially as a center, you're the whole team before the snap. you are the whole team. You control the cadence. You control everything. The quarterback, and you have to be on the same page. So for him to not be able to snap the ball correctly, I don't know if it's just a communication thing. I don't know where things are going wrong. I don't know if it's just he thinks he sees the hand motion that Shador does to snap the ball, but I don't know. And Kevin also coming in with, can you show where we rank? Yes, I will show you guys where we rank. And we actually are 18th in the AP poll, but AP top 25. And I was going to go into another section as well about that, but we're 18th. We're 18th this year, right now. But I will get right back to you on that, Kev. But another player that I thought played pretty well, and I didn't hear a whole lot of name calling from this man particularly, Philip Houston. Normally getting at least two to three holding penalties. I'm not sure if I was just not paying attention and just trying to tone out exactly some of the holdings, but did not see a whole lot of holdings called. And Philip Houston was not involved in the holdings. Big step up. Love to see that. And I'm excited to kind of see that continue forward. I think Phil Lowholt has done a fantastic job with these linemen, keeping them involved with obviously awareness of, hey, we could play better. I definitely think they're still going to get yelled at because they let up 3 sacks, which in their eyes, they said it, their standard is 0 a game. They don't want any. Obviously, you can count some of those towards Shador a bit for sure because he did try to scramble a lot more. So see that being something of an issue. I am curious to see where this man, Cardell Thomas, comes into play. I from FAMU. Hopefully, we use him. I don't know whether or not he's redshirted or involved. I'm not sure, but that would be an interesting one to kind of to see. But those two were really my key players of the game so far. Obviously, Jordan Seaton, phenomenal player. Obviously doing an amazing job. If you track PFF, I'm not 100% sure exactly how that all works out. It's professional stuff ranking college players. He's highest rated in the past 3 weeks on CU's team. So on the offensive line at least. So fantastic from him as usual. Played well. Very, very versatile. We're utilizing him in a lot of stretching blocks. We're putting him out vertical. We're using him for screens. We're using him for, creating space. And we saw that with Cash Cleveland on Will Shepard's 15-yard gain on the screen pass. They really utilized the linemen especially well on these screen plays. So super excited to see what we do there. But just wanted to run through kind of some of these predictions now. Obviously, had a big week with a lot of involvement of top-ranked teams playing each other. So, LSU was involved with this last weekend. Also, can I just say, why is Kansas State even ranked still? Because if I'm being honest, I think you put LSU right here. I think you put LSU right here. Because LSU lost to a ranked Bama team. That makes no sense why they're not here. Also, what? I don't know. That ain't it. And then Kevin, I just wanted to go ahead and say I appreciate you chatting so much, man. Hey, while everybody's in here, appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Go ahead and smash the like button on the stream. Let me know you guys are enjoying this content. Smash the subscribe button if you don't mind as well. Hey, it's free. It's free. Tune in. Ladies and gentlemen, we do this quite frequently. Would love to have you guys here. Would love to have you guys be a part of the herd. We want to keep you up to date with the herd. So apologize for the plug. Won't do it often. But hey, smash the subscribe buttons, baby. Smash it, that shit, bro. All right. So we've got an interesting point though, because let's take Colorado. Now, CU has to basically win the remainder of their games to be involved with the conference championship. Will Colorado win it? And let's just hypothetically say CU wins the Big 12 championship. We'll see. We'll see what this looks like. But at this point, first round by 54% chance. Now, that was lower as of last week. Now, how to make the playoffs? 93% chance. Colorado would face Georgia. I don't know where they get these numbers from, because you have Boise State, and that's the conference, because the way they're doing it is the Power 4 teams get the automatic spots. Then Boise is in the 12th spot because of their conference. But I don't know exactly where they're getting 4 or 5 from. I mean, I would imagine you put Indiana at 4, and then Boise State at like 9. I don't understand. I mean, just if we're basing it off of conference winners, then it's a different story. But I thought they got the bid. But that might also open it up to like another SEC team, realistically, or a Big Ten team. So anyway, we got an interesting stat here. Colorado would be third if they won their Big 12 championship and won the remainder of their games, because obviously they would beat out BYU, which I think is a very beatable team. And this is something that I truly think would be an amazing game to watch. Colorado, if they play Georgia, dude, I hate to say it, but probably going to be one of those situations where CU wins that particular situation, just because the fact that Carson Beck is the quarterback for Georgia right now, and if that were to change, potentially going to happen. And very interesting overall. So wanted to just say this is what things look like right now. I'm not 100% sure if this is solid, but this is what ESPN has, and they're a part of the committee. They were 20th in last week's poll. This week probably going to be dipping down to that 18th spot. We'll see what happens. But hey, I know this has been a fairly long stream, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. We'll come back next week or tomorrow with an update. But appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Thank you guys so much. Look forward to talking to y'all later in a bit, but we'll see you at the top.